Hello everyone, I'm here to make another content video. Today for dinner I am making honey garlic Asian chicken bites. So I've already mixed up my sauce, which is right here in this bowl. You can kind of see it a little bit. And I have honey, soy sauce, garlic that I dried and ground myself, my own basil that I grew in my garden, dried and ground up myself, and a little bit of pepper. That's what's in this sauce. Soy sauce, honey, garlic, garlic powder. I think I might have some minced garlic in there. I'll check the sauce here in a minute. And pepper. So now I'm going to cut up my onion. And I haven't really posted any content about what I'm doing. So I've decided to transition my household over to more natural remedies, medicines, things like that. I started earlier this year by transitioning over to some natural medicines that I have learned with a friend of mine who lives a couple doors over. Her name's Kayla. She taught me a whole lot. I've learned a whole lot watching videos and things like that, to the point that I actually have a garden in my backyard. It's very small, nothing major. I am no garden whiz. I've never had a garden before. I grew some tomatoes, weren't real successful, and I usually grow herbs like basil and things like that on my porch in a pot. Never had a garden in the ground before, so this is all new to me. But it, for all intents and purposes for me, it seems to be a very successful little garden. I've had cucumbers, which both my cucumber plants have died, and come to find out that a lot of gardeners were having that same issue with their cucumbers. So don't feel so bad about that. So I've sliced up half of an onion. I'm going to throw it in my marinade bag. This is what I'm putting everything in. I'm going to let this chicken marinate probably about an hour or so. It may not need that long, but I don't want to cook it too early. My husband works third shift. Yeah, half onion is good enough. So with my onion scraps, I'm going to throw them in a Ziploc bag, and I keep it in my freezer because I make my own stock with that. So I've made chicken stock and vegetable stock, and I have canned both of those. And I'm using been using the water bath canning method because I don't know anything about pressure canning, and it seems to be slightly complicated. So I don't know. I might endeavor on that here later on, but right now I'm not. So chicken tenders, I've already washed them. Here's my whole plate. Took them out of the bag, out of the tray. I've already washed these, so I'm just going to cut these up into bite-sized chunks. Throw them in my bag with the onions. All my seasonings are in my sauce, so I'm not worried about seasoning the chicken. That's why I'm marinating it, so it can pick up all the sauce, all the seasonings, and I don't have to re-season. And yes, I am wearing gloves. See, gloves. People seem to freak out when people are at home cooking their food and not using gloves. So thought I'd save you all a little bit of, where's your gloves at? Why aren't you using gloves? Yeah, you know that's raw chicken? Yes, I do know it's raw chicken. And yes, I do know it's gloves. I just fucked that up, but it's okay. Threw that piece away of onion skins. Like I said, I keep all my veggie scraps so I can make stock. It's coming up to be fall time. We're going in the cold, and I make chicken soup and things like that for my family. I don't eat a lot of soup myself, but my family loves it, especially when I make chicken soup, chicken noodle soup, anything along that lines. My husband and kids seem to love, so I make it for them. I don't eat it, but they do, so that's what matters. I usually cook myself something else. I don't know why. I've never really been a huge on soup. I like French onion soup, and I like broccoli cheddar soup. I used to be a real fan of the Italian wedding soup. We went to a restaurant years ago. They're closed now, but it's called Lentini's. Wonderful, wonderful food. They shut down, and I haven't had an Italian wedding soup since that I've liked. So I don't know what that says. But not super big on soups myself, but my family is. So I make it. And instead of buying all that stuff in the store, I've decided that I can make that myself. So I am. I've also learned how to make bread and butter pickles. Bread and butter pickles are my favorite pickles. I don't eat any other pickles. That's the only pickles that I eat are bread and butter pickles. So my friend again, Kayla, her family has a farm. And her mom has a farm stand. So she makes all that stuff. Her own pasta sauce and all of that. So she gave me some of her mom's bread and butter pickles. And it was the best bread and butter pickles I've ever had in my life. So, as you see, I've added my chicken to the bag. Move that plate over. And the onions. Now again, here's my sauce. I don't know if you can really see that. There you go. Just gonna pour it in. Get all that good out. I have to check it, but that's okay. Now I'm gonna remove my gloves. Turn them inside out. Throw them away. Why did I say that? Because not everybody knows how to take off gloves the right way without contaminating your hands. Obviously, I'm still going to wash my hands, but they're not super contaminated right now. I work in the kitchen for a living, so I wear gloves a lot. So here we go. Mush them around and mush them around. And we're going to let that marinate. Now I'm going to put it in a bowl. I'm going to wash this bowl. Be right back. Alright, bowl's nice and clean. I'm going to put my bag in my bowl. And into the fridge it goes. Be right back. Alright, so I've washed up my dishes, cleaned my area. I got my knife back. See, wet. Cutting board. This is the side I use for my meat. This is the side I use for my veggies. I'm just going to finish slicing up this onion. And instead of leaving it sit in my fridge to rot, because I tend to forget about things like this. I don't know why, but I do. I'm trying to be better, but shit happens. So I'm going to slice it up and I'm going to throw it in my freezer. That way, when I need some sliced onions, I can just pull them out. Bought a whole bag of onions today because I'm going to be pickling them again. I'm going to make some more bread and butter pickled onions. Hold on. Onion skin. Let me grab a bag. And my marker. Baggie, Sharpie. I label everything because I will forget. Hold on.